This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Well, in 5 days, you guys are going to be stepping on the court for the first time since you guys found out you weren't playing for the ASUN Conference Championship. What's this going to be like for you guys to get back out there and try to prove that you guys still have some unfinished business left?
Oh, it's gonna be big time. I feel like we left off great, and hopefully, we can pick up with where we were. I feel like our chemistry was really good. The freshmen and the newcomers coming in, I feel like they've adjusted and gelled well with this team.
Benjamin.
Okay. Emily, just looking at your background, you come from a sports background. I mean, your dad played basketball at Western Carolina. You had a brother who played at Memphis. Sisters played basketball at College Union, and then you had an older brother who played basketball at Mississippi College. How impactful was it to have all these family members, particularly from a basketball background? How did they help mold you into the player you are today? Because I'm sure those basketball games, maybe in the backyard, were very competitive.
Yes. Oh man, it was. Growing up, we had a goal in the backyard, and so we would always play, and we had like enough to play 5-on-5. So that was a pretty awesome part. My whole family's very competitive, so I assume I get that from them, and just being able to just how the whole my whole family plays the same sport. I feel like I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it was pretty awesome knowing that my sisters, we pretty much all played on the same team. It was the four of us. I played up, so I got to play with my sisters, so that was awesome. And then just to see them progress, and then knowing that I could follow in their footsteps, it was it's a good thing.
Who's the best player in the family?
Mm. Oh man, we all play different positions, so it's kind of hard to say. But um, I would say Bethany Lytle. She's one of the twins. She's definitely a player, so she's up there for sure.
Now, Emily, just your thoughts about the new arena. I mean, you got some new digs. You debut it coming up. What's it been like? And maybe compare the difference between obviously the Vine Center and Liberty Arena, because it's an obvious difference.
Yeah, it's very different, but I think I'm going to like this new arena a lot better. It already feels better than Vines. I don't know what it is, but um, I'm loving it. We've only been in there maybe a few times, maybe 3 or 4 times, so it's getting used to it is going to be a little tough, but I think once we do, it'll be a good fit for us.
What was your initial reaction when you guys walked in for that first practice?
To the new arena,
Yeah.
I was blown away. At first, they posted pictures about it, and it was before they had the seats. I was like, that looks really small. Then I walked in there. I was like, okay, this is kind of big. I did, yeah, it's very big. So I'm excited.
What do you when you look at this team, and you mentioned unfinished business and all that, you know and obviously the added layer of COVID, which started kind of near the end of your season to where it is now. How have you guys adjusted? Because I, like for instance, we hear from Virginia Tech head football coach Justin Fuente. He talked about how this is a tough time period for college athletes and student athletes. But for you personally and your teammates, how have you handled that? Because there's a whole lot of isolation, not really having an opportunity to interact with other students and all that. Just talk about that aspect of it from a college athlete.
Um, I would say it is hard because even if you don't have the virus, but you come in contact with someone who has symptoms and don't even have it, you have to quarantine. So I would say it's pretty hard on that part because you have some players that are out for like 2 weeks and they don't even have it. So um, I would say just having everyone to be able to practice and trying to be in sync. I think that's one of the toughest parts of this virus. Um, Other than that, I feel like it hasn't been too bad, because they're trying to keep us in a bubble, so therefore we can only go to like 2 or 3 places, and that's the study hall, the gym, and where we live. So I feel like that gives us a lot of time to put in extra work if we need it on our own.
Now, how much have you guys been able to avoid those pitfalls? We've heard a lot of teams have had to shut down practices for a couple weeks because of high numbers. How have you guys been able to manage with it?
I think we've managed it pretty well, and I think our staff is doing a really good job and just keeping us in a bubble and keeping us safe and protected, and just doing the what is it? Having to check for COVID like 3 times a week. We have to go in and test. So I feel like they're doing a really good job with our team. The whole Liberty University is doing a wonderful job with their athletes.
Emily, you're one of the veterans on the team, and when you look at the whole roster, it's pretty much dominated mostly by upperclassmen, juniors and seniors, and players with experience. How big is that going into a season like this, where you guys have a lot of experience and a lot of players coming back?
I think that's huge, considering that we lost Kian Green. She played a big part in our game, and she'll truly be missed, but there are some girls that have really stepped up, like Maya McMillan. She's doing very well, and I think she's filling in Kian's spot pretty well for herself. A lot of the newcomers, they're very mature. They know the game pretty well, and so I think that will help us a lot. And the freshmen, I think they have ways to go, but I mean, you have to expect that from a freshman who's just coming into college. So I'm not going to hold that against them, because they're doing extremely well getting into the program and just making their contribute.
You guys are still relatively deep there, at the wing position, even after Asia transferred in the off season. How's that competition going for you guys?
For the
wings, yeah.
For the wings?
Small forward, shooting guards.
It's going pretty well. I feel like having a deep bench, I feel like that would keep us fresh through the entire season. Because I know a lot of teams, they play only 7 players the whole year, and they tend to get run down towards the end. But I feel like we have a deep bench, and I feel like everyone will get almost an equal opportunity to see the court. So I think that will really help us in the long run.
You've seen how in the NBA they played in a bubble with no fans, and it looks like apparently it's going to be a limited number of fans, if any. I mean, have you guys adjusted to that? Because obviously in practice you don't have anybody there.
Correct.
Have you guys looked at adjusting to that? Because I know it's going to be a different feel, even though you're in a new arena, but you're still not going to have as many fans as you normally would.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be pretty hard, because the fans kind of give us that energy that we need kind of when we're down or something. But I think it's going to be hard to find that without the fans, to find that energy. And so, yeah, we just got to adjust to that. I'm sure the first few games are going to feel kind of weird, a little strange, but I think we'll gel and adjust to that.
Are there any games on the schedule you guys have circled that you're really eager to play?
The first game, honestly. I'm very eager to play the first game. This past week is going by so slow, and so I'm just ready to get back on the court again.
What about going up to Memphis?
Oh, I'm so excited about that game. I've been talking about it since last year when we first got the contract with them. It's kind of the bummer part that, all my family was going to go, but I'm pretty sure we can only get like 1 or 2 tickets to the game, so I'm a little upset about that.
When you look at the makeup of the ASUN schedule, what's your thoughts about that? Because it's basically, every other day pod system where you're going to play the same team back to back. Just your feelings about that. Is that a good thing for you, a bad thing? Just your feelings on that.
At first when they told us, we're going to play Friday and Sunday, I said, okay, that's not too bad. A day in between, give us less time to rest, hydrate, get prepared for the next one. And then they told us, you know what, Saturday and Sunday. we have to change it. I kind of was like, not really feeling that. Doesn't really give you much time to get off my feet, you know, just barely 24 hours. But it's definitely something that we had to adjust to, and I know coaches are trying to schedule our practices to be like 2 hard days back to back and then 1 off to get our bodies used to that feeling. But hopefully towards the end of the season, we'll be ready.
But does it help that you're playing the same team in back-to-back days, I guess, too?
Yes and no. I feel like if we play them and win the first time, I feel like it's going to be really hard to beat them a second time. It'll be possible for sure, but it'll be very difficult. But at the same time, I feel like playing them one day and then having it fresh in our mind of like their plays and what each player likes to do, and then come back the very next day and capitalize on that. I feel like that'll be one of the positive sides of it.
Emily, this is the last one from me. How close are you guys to getting to the FGCU level and beating them and having the chance to represent the conference in the NCAA tournament?
We're there already.
Emily, my final question for you. What are some things you like? Well, actually, it's a 2-part question. What are some of the things you like doing away from basketball? That's one part of the question. And the second part of the question is, what is something that people would be surprised to know about you that they didn't know about you?
One thing I like to do is I like to paint. I like to draw and paint. I think that's very, it's just something that I really like to do. And something that surprises people about me is I really like to watch anime. I don't know if you know what that is or not, but I'm an anime lover. Most people are like, what? That like a cartoon? So.
When you say paint, I mean, what do you use? Watercolor? Do you use regular oil paints? I mean, I know you're probably surprised. I wouldn't know what type of paint it is. Do you like it on a canvas? I mean, when you paint, I mean, is that more therapeutic, relaxing? How's that?
I use it all. Watercolor, acrylic, oil. I don't know. It's just the feeling of when you create something that you have in your mind and it turns out the way you want it to. It's just, I don't know. It's a good feeling.
Do you do self-portraits? Do you do portraits of people? Like, do you paint people? Or
I do.
Do you have people pose for you?
I do. I do not have people pose for me, but I do portraits.
Well, I'll probably send you my order.
Bring it.